The Fisherman's Blessing, a Rivers State Nigerian tale. In the heart of Rivers State, Nigeria, there lived a fisherman named Mr. Bassi Inem. He was known throughout his village as a hardworking man who went to the river every morning before sunrise to cast his nets. The village sat near the banks of the Niger Delta, where the water was rich with fish and the people lived simple lives. Mr. Bassi lived in a small mud house with his wife Comfort and their adopted daughter Aduni. The girl was not their blood child, but they had raised her since she was a baby. Comfort often treated Aduni poorly, making her do all the housework, while their own son, Emeka, played with other children. Every morning, Aduni would wake up early to sweep the compound and fetch water from the well. She would wash the dishes and prepare food for the family. But no matter how hard she worked, Comfort always found something to complain about. "Aduni, you didn't sweep this corner properly," Comfort would say. "And look at how you arranged these plates. Do it again." When Mr. Bassi returned from fishing, he would often find Aduni crying in the backyard. But he was too tired from his work to pay much attention. The fishing had not been good lately, and they barely had enough food to eat. One morning, as Mr. Bassi walked to the river with his fishing net, he met his friend Godwin, who was also a fisherman. "How was yesterday's catch?" Godwin asked. "Not good at all," Mr. Bassi replied, shaking his head. "It was as if all the fish in the river heard me coming and swam away. I came back with almost nothing." "Same here," Godwin said. "Maybe tomorrow will be better." The river doesn't always favor us the same way. They walked together toward the river, talking about their families and the challenges of feeding them with so little income from fishing. At home, Aduni was busy preparing breakfast when Emeka came running into the kitchen. "Papa, I'm hungry," he said. "Give me something to eat." "There's no food in the house," Aduni told him. "Even yam, we don't have any left. Mama went to the market to buy some." "But I'm hungry now," Emeka complained. Aduni felt sorry for her younger brother. She went to check the food store one more time, hoping to find something. To her surprise, she found 2 tubers of yam that she was sure had not been there before. "Papa, see what I found in the house," she said when Mr. Bassi returned from the river. "I thought we had no yam left." Mr. Bassi removed his cap and looked at the yams with surprise. "This is strange. Your mother said there was no food left before she went to market. How did these get here?" But he was too hungry to think much about it. "Go and prepare them," he told Aduni. That evening, as Mr. Bassi sat by the river mending his fishing net, he noticed something shiny in the sand near the water's edge. He picked it up and saw that it was a beautiful bead, unlike anything he had ever seen. The bead seemed to glow in the moonlight, and it felt warm in his hand. "What a beautiful thing," he said to himself. "I wonder who lost this." He looked around, but there was no one else at the river. The bead was so beautiful that he decided to keep it. He put it in his pocket and went home. When he reached home, Comfort had returned from the market with some yam. "Where did you get the yam we ate today?" she asked. "Because there was none in the house when I left." "I'm as surprised as you are," Mr. Bassi said. "Aduni found them in the storeroom." "That's impossible," Comfort said. "I checked everywhere before I left." Just then, Mr. Bassi remembered the bead in his pocket. He pulled it out to show his wife. "Look what I found by the river," he said. The bead was even more beautiful in the lamplight. It seemed to shimmer with different colors. "It's lovely," Comfort said. "You should wear it." Mr. Bassi put the bead around his neck. As soon as he did, he felt something strange happen. He had a sudden urge to make a wish. "I wish we had palm oil in the house," he said without thinking. "I forgot to tell you to buy some from the market." Immediately, a bottle of palm oil appeared on the table. Comfort's eyes went wide. "How did that get there?" "I don't know," Mr. Bassi said, but he was beginning to understand. He looked at the bead around his neck. "I wish we had some salt," he said. A bag of salt appeared next to the palm oil. "The bead," Comfort whispered. "It's magic." "I wish we had rice," Mr. Bassi continued. A bag of rice appeared on the floor. Aduni and Emeka came running when they heard their parents shouting with joy. "What's happening?" Aduni asked. "This bead grants wishes," Mr. Bassi explained, showing them the magical object. "Anything I wish for appears." From that day forward, life changed completely for Mr. Bassi's family. He no longer needed to go fishing. Whenever they needed food, he would simply wish for it, and it would appear. Soon, word spread throughout the village that Mr. Bassi had become rich. As weeks passed, Mr. Bassi's house filled with food and other good things. He would wish for expensive clothes, furniture, and anything his heart desired. The family ate meat every day and had more food than they could finish. But with wealth came a change in their hearts. Comfort became proud and refused to greet her old friends. When poor people came to ask for help, she would chase them away from her compound. "Get out of here, you beggars," she would shout. "Do you think we are running a charity? Go and work for your own food." Mr. Bassi also became stingy. One day, his old friend Patrick, who played the flute for money, came to ask for help. "My friend," Patrick said, "my children and I have not eaten for 2 days. Can you please give me just 1 tuber of yam?" "Patrick," Mr. Bassi replied, "you have been playing that flute for 20 years, yet you cannot feed your family. Why don't you find a real job instead of begging?" "Please," Patrick begged, "I am your friend. We have known each other for many years." "The food is mine," Mr. Bassi said coldly. "I worked for it. Go and work for yours." Patrick left with tears in his eyes. This happened many times with different people from the village. Mr. Bassi and his family became known as the stingy rich people who would not help anyone. Meanwhile, poor Aduni's life became worse. Now that the family was rich, Comfort expected her to work even harder. She made Aduni cook, clean, wash clothes, and serve the family like a servant. "Don't call me Mama," Comfort told Aduni one day, "and don't call him Papa. We are not your parents. Ask your Chi who your real parents are." This broke Aduni's heart. She had never known any other parents, but now they were telling her she didn't belong to their family. One evening, as Aduni sat crying under a tree, her friend Chioma found her. "Why are you always crying these days?" Chioma asked. "They say I'm not their child," Aduni said through her tears. "They told me to ask my Chi who my real parents are, but I don't know where I come from." "That's not right," Chioma said. "You've lived with them all your life. Why would they say such things now?" "I don't know," Aduni replied. "Ever since they became rich, everything has changed. They treat me like a slave." Unknown to Mr. Bassi, the bead belonged to Mami Wata, the river goddess who protected the waters of River's state. She had been living in the river in human form, but had lost her precious bead while visiting the human world. The bead was her source of power and the key to returning to her underwater kingdom. Without it, she was trapped on land. Deep in the river, her son Keme was waiting for her return. "Mother, where are you?" he called out to the water. "Father is asking about you. Your daughters are missing you." Mami Wata appeared to him in the river. "My son," she said, "I have lost my sacred bead. A human has found it and is using its power for his own gain. I must get it back before I can return home." "How will you find the person who has it?" Keme asked. "I will know," she replied. "Whoever has my bead will start getting everything they wish for. They will become very rich very quickly. It will be easy to find them." "What about the girl, Aduni?" Keme asked. "When will you tell her the truth about who she is?" "Soon, my son. When the time is right, I will reveal everything to her. She has suffered too much already." Mami Wata had been watching over Aduni since she was a baby. The girl was actually Mr. Bassi's real daughter, born from a love affair he had many years ago in another village. But that's a story that would soon be revealed. As time went on, Mr. Bassi became more and more greedy. He used the bead's power to get expensive things, but never shared them with anyone in need. The village people began to talk about his selfishness. One day, Chief Okoro, the village medicine man, came to visit Mr. Bassi. "My friend," Chief Okoro said, "I have been noticing strange things happening around you lately. Your sudden wealth, your change in behavior. I want to warn you about something." "What warning?" Mr. Bassi asked arrogantly. "Are you jealous of my success?" "Listen carefully," Chief Okoro continued. "The spirits have been speaking to me. They say you have something that doesn't belong to you, something from the river. If you don't return it, you will face consequences." "You're just a fake medicine man," Mr. Bassi laughed. "You go around the village pretending to talk to spirits, but everyone knows you're fake. Get out of my house. I'm warning you as a friend." Chief Okoro insisted. Return what you took from the river before it's too late. Get out, Mr. Bassi shouted, and don't come back here with your lies. After Chief Okoro left, Mr. Bassi felt even more confident in his power. He didn't believe in the warning and continued to use the bead selfishly. That same evening, Mami Wata appeared to Aduni in a dream. My child, she said, tell the man you call father to return the bead he found by the river. If he doesn't return it by the next market day, he will face the consequences of his greed. Aduni woke up confused and scared. The woman in her dream had looked so real and her voice was so powerful. But how could she tell Mr. Bassi about the dream? He would probably beat her for talking nonsense. The next morning, Aduni tried to tell Mr. Bassi about the dream. Papa, she began carefully, I had a strange dream last night. A woman told me to ask you to return the bead you found by the river. Mr. Bassi's face turned red with anger. So now you're a prophet, he shouted. Do you have the power to receive messages from spirits? He slapped Aduni hard across the face. Don't ever talk such nonsense to me again. And I told you not to call me Papa. We are not your parents. Aduni ran out of the house crying, her cheek burning from the slap. The next market day came and went, but Mr. Bassi ignored all the warnings. He continued to use the bead's power to get whatever he wanted. His house was now filled with expensive furniture, clothes, and food. But that evening, as the family sat down for dinner, something strange began to happen. Mr. Bassi suddenly felt a sharp pain in his chest. He tried to stand up but found he couldn't move his legs. What's happening to me? He gasped. Comfort tried to help him, but she also felt a strange force pushing her down. The room began to fill with a mysterious mist, and the temperature dropped suddenly. All the lights in the house went out, but the room was filled with an eerie blue glow. Then, through the mist, a figure appeared. It was Mami Wata, the river goddess, in all her supernatural glory. Her hair flowed like water, and her eyes glowed like stars. She was both beautiful and terrifying at the same time. You have been warned, she said in a voice that echoed like thunder. You have been given many chances to return my bead, but you refused. Mr. Bassi tried to speak, but no words came out. He was frozen with fear. You found my sacred bead by the river, Mami Wata continued. Instead of looking for its owner, you kept it for yourself. You used its power to become rich, but you refused to help the poor and needy. She turned her gaze to Comfort. And you, woman, you have treated this innocent child like a slave. You have forgotten the promise your husband made many years ago. Please, Mr. Bassi managed to whisper, forgive us. We didn't know. You knew, Mami Wata replied. Your heart told you it was wrong, but greed made you ignore the voice of conscience. She stretched out her hand toward Mr. Bassi. Give me my bead. With trembling hands, Mr. Bassi removed the bead from around his neck and gave it to her. As soon as the bead left his possession, all the wealth in the house disappeared. The expensive furniture vanished, the fancy clothes turned to rags, and the abundance of food was gone. This is your punishment for greed and selfishness, Mami Wata said. You will remain blind until you learn the true meaning of kindness and generosity. She waved her hand, and both Mr. Bassi and Comfort lost their sight. They cried out in fear and pain, stumbling around the now empty house. But Aduni, who had been watching everything with wonder and fear, was not harmed. The truth revealed. After Mr. Bassi and Comfort were struck blind, Mami Wata turned to Aduni with a gentle smile. Don't be afraid, my child, she said softly. I have come to tell you the truth about who you are. Who am I? Aduni asked, her voice trembling. You are the daughter of Mr. Bassi Inem, Mami Wata said. Your real father. Aduni's eyes widened in shock. But how is that possible? Mami Wata began to tell the story. Many years ago, before Mr. Bassi married Comfort, he traveled to a distant village in Rivers State to sell his fish. There, he met a beautiful young woman named Ego. They fell in love, and before he left, he gave her a precious bead as a token of his love. As she spoke, Aduni saw visions of everything that had happened. Your mother Ego became pregnant with you, but Mr. Bassi never returned as he had promised. When you were born, your mother was afraid. In those days, it was a great shame for a young woman to have a child without a husband. The village elders would have punished her severely. Mami Wata continued, "So your mother brought you to the riverbank and prayed to me, asking me to protect you and help you find your father someday. She left you there with the bead your father had given her, hoping someone would find you and care for you." "And Mr. Bassi found me?" Aduni asked. "Yes," Mami Wata nodded. "When he saw you by the river, he felt something in his heart but didn't understand what it was. He made a promise to the river spirits that day. He said he would love and care for you like his own child, even when he had children of his own. But he broke that promise," Aduni said sadly. "Yes, he did. When wealth came into his life, he forgot about love and kindness. He and his wife began to treat you poorly, even though you are his own blood." Mami Wata reached into her robes and pulled out a small, beautiful bead. Different from the magical one, but equally precious. "This is the bead your father gave to your mother," she said, placing it in Aduni's hands. "It belongs to you. When you show it to your father, he will remember the truth." As Aduni held the bead, she felt a warm feeling in her heart, as if she was finally complete. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now you must choose," Mami Wata said. "You can stay with your father and help him learn to be a better man, or you can come with me to the River Kingdom where you will never lack anything." Aduni thought for a moment. Despite everything that had happened, she still loved Mr. Bassi, and even Comfort, who had raised her. "I want to stay," she said. "I want to help them become better people." Mami Wata smiled. "That is the answer of a truly good heart. Very well. I will give your father one more chance, but this time the power will be in your hands." The second chance. The next morning, Mr. Bassi and Comfort sat in their now empty house, crying and trying to understand what had happened to them. They could not see anything and had to feel their way around. "This is all your fault," Comfort said to Mr. Bassi. "If you had listened to the warnings, this wouldn't have happened." "How was I supposed to know the bead belonged to a river goddess?" Mr. Bassi replied. "I thought I was just lucky." They heard footsteps, and Aduni's voice called out, "Papa?" "Don't call me Papa," Mr. Bassi said automatically, then remembered their situation. "Aduni, is that you? Please help us. We can't see anything." "Papa, I have something important to tell you," Aduni said gently, "about who I really am." She sat down beside him and began to tell him everything Mami Wata had revealed to her. "Do you remember a girl named Ego from the village you visited many years ago?" she asked. Mr. Bassi's face went pale. "How do you know about Ego?" "Because she was my mother," Aduni said. "I am your daughter, Papa." "Your real daughter." She placed the small bead in his hand. As soon as Mr. Bassi felt it, memories came flooding back. He remembered giving this exact bead to Ego before he left her village. He remembered promising to return for her, a promise he had broken when he met and married Comfort. "Oh my God," he whispered. "You're really my daughter." "Yes, Papa," Aduni said. "Mama Ego left me by the river when I was a baby, hoping you would find me someday, and you did." Mr. Bassi began to cry. "I'm so sorry, my daughter. I'm so sorry for how we treated you. Can you ever forgive me?" "I forgive you, Papa," Aduni said, hugging him, "but you must promise to be a better person from now on." Then Aduni told them about the new bead that Mami Wata had given her, one that would also grant wishes, but only if they used it to help others. This time, Aduni said, "We must use any blessings we receive to help the poor and needy in our village." The new beginning, with the new bead, Aduni began to wish for food and supplies, but not for their family alone. Every day she would use the bead's power to create enough food to feed all the hungry people in the village. Word quickly spread that Mr. Bassi's family was sharing food freely with anyone who needed it. People who had been turned away before came back, amazed by the change. Patrick, the flute player who had been rejected before, came hesitantly to their house. "I heard you're helping people now," he said, "but I understand if you don't want to help me after what happened before." "My friend," Mr. Bassi said, feeling his way toward Patrick's voice, "I owe you an apology. I was wrong to treat you badly. Please take as much food as you need for your family." "But you're blind now," Patrick said with concern. "How are you managing?" "We're learning that there are more important things than what we can see with our eyes," Mr. Bassi replied. "My daughter is helping us see with our hearts." Every day, more people came to receive help. Widows, orphans, elderly people who couldn't work, and families who were struggling, all were welcomed and given what they needed. Aduni organized the food distribution, making sure everyone got their fair share. She also made sure that Comfort was involved in helping despite her blindness. "Here, Mama," Aduni would say, guiding Comfort's hands to help serve food. "This is Mrs. Abigail. She's a widow with 4 children." Slowly, Comfort's heart began to change too. She started to understand the joy that comes from helping others instead of just taking care of yourself. The healing, months passed, and Mr. Bassey's family became known throughout Rivers State for their kindness and generosity. People would travel from other villages just to see the blind fisherman who had learned to see with his heart. One day, Chief Okoro came to visit again. "I have been watching your family," he told Mr. Bassey. "You have truly changed. The spirits are pleased with your transformation." "I wish I could see again to better help people," Mr. Bassey said, "but I accept whatever punishment I deserve." "Perhaps," Chief Okoro said mysteriously, "your sight will return when you have truly learned your lesson." That evening, as the family sat together after feeding dozens of hungry villagers, Mami Wata appeared again. But this time she came not in anger, but with a warm smile. "You have learned the true meaning of wealth," she said to Mr. Bassey. "Real wealth is not in what you have, but in what you give to others." "We understand now," Mr. Bassey said. "We're sorry for our past mistakes." "And you, woman," Mami Wata said to Comfort, "you have learned to love this child as your own," she pointed at Aduni. "You have opened your heart to others." Comfort nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Aduni is the best daughter anyone could ask for. I was wrong to treat her badly." Mami Wata placed her hands over their eyes. "Because you have truly repented and changed your ways, I will restore your sight. But remember, if you ever return to your old selfish ways, the blindness will come back permanently." Light flooded back into their eyes, and Mr. Bassey and Comfort could see again. The first thing they saw was Aduni's beautiful, smiling face. "My daughter," Mr. Bassey said, hugging her tightly, "my precious daughter. Your generosity has brought healing not only to yourselves, but to your entire village," Mami Wata said. "Continue on this path, and you will always have enough to share with others." She gave Aduni a new bead, one that glowed with a gentle, warm light. "This will always provide for those in need," she said. "Use it wisely." Epilogue: The Legacy. Years later, Mr. Bassey Inem became famous throughout Rivers State as the generous fisherman who would help anyone in need. His house became a place where the hungry could always find food, where the lonely could find comfort, and where the hopeless could find hope. Aduni grew up to be a beautiful and wise young woman. She never forgot the lessons she had learned about kindness and generosity. She used the magical bead not for luxury or personal gain, but to feed the hungry, help the sick, and support those who had no one else to turn to. When she was old enough, many young men from the village wanted to marry her, not because of her family's wealth, but because of her good character and kind heart. Mr. Bassey never returned to fishing for money, but he would still go to the river every morning to pray and thank Mami Wata for the lessons she had taught him. Sometimes, local children would see him talking to the water, and he would tell them stories about the importance of sharing and caring for others. Comfort also changed completely. She became known as one of the kindest women in the village, always ready to help a neighbor in need. She treated Aduni with the love and respect she deserved, and often said that finding out Aduni was Mr. Bassey's real daughter was the best thing that ever happened to their family. The village itself became prosperous, not because of magic, but because the people learned to help each other. When one family had a good harvest, they would share with families who had struggled. When someone was sick, the whole community would come together to help. Travelers who passed through the village would often comment on how happy and peaceful the people seemed. They would ask what made this village different from others, and the elders would always tell them the same story, about a fisherman who found a magical bead and learned that the greatest magic of all is a generous heart. And in the river, Mami Wata would smile whenever she heard these stories. She had not only recovered her precious bead, but had helped transform an entire community. The waters of Rivers State flowed more peacefully, knowing that the people living along its banks had learned the most important lesson of all. that true wealth comes not from what you keep for yourself, but from what you give to others. Mr. Bassi Inam's name became legendary in Rivers State, passed down from generation to generation as an example of how people can change their hearts and lives. Children would learn the story of the greedy fisherman who became generous, and parents would use it to teach their own children about the importance of kindness. The magical bead continued to provide for the needs of the community, but it never made anyone rich in the way Mr. Bassi had once been rich. Instead, it ensured that no one in the village ever went hungry. No child lacked clothes to wear, and no family faced hardship alone. Years turned into decades, and when Mr. Bassi finally grew old, he would sit by the river every evening, watching the sunset and remembering all the lessons he had learned. Aduni, now a mother herself, would sit beside him with her own children, continuing the tradition of sharing stories about kindness and generosity. Remember, Mr. Bassi would tell his grandchildren, "The river gave us everything we needed to learn. It taught us that magic is not about getting whatever you want. It's about using whatever you have to help others." And the children would nod and promise to always remember the story of their grandfather, the fisherman who found a magical bead and discovered that the greatest treasure of all is a heart full of love for others. The story of Mr. Bassi Inam and the magical bead became one of the most beloved tales in Rivers State, reminding everyone who heard it that no matter how poor or rich you are, you always have something to give to others, even if it's just kindness, respect, and love. And in the river, Mami Wata continues to watch over the people of Rivers State, protecting those who show kindness to others and teaching lessons to those who need to learn about generosity. For she knows that the true magic of life is not in taking, but in giving, and that the greatest wealth anyone can possess is a heart that cares for others. The end of the story. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Make sure you drop your comment and share your thoughts with us.